Welcome to the Explainer, where we break down big ideas. Okay, so let's talk about something that makes a lot of us shudder: English grammar. I mean, just hearing that word probably brings back nightmares of red pens, confusing rules, and just endless frustrating exceptions, right?
Our source material kicks things off with this quote, and man, does it hit home. It just perfectly captures that feeling of drowning in complexity, a feeling I'm pretty sure we've all had at some point.
So, yeah, if that feeling of just totally illogical rules sounds familiar, you are in exactly the right place. Because today, we're going to flip that entire idea on its head. What if we've been looking at this all wrong? I mean, what if there's a much simpler, way more logical way to see English grammar? That's the whole idea here. Let's stop memorizing and start understanding. This right here, this really gets to the heart of it. On one hand, you've got the old way, just brute force memorization. But on the other, there's this new kind of elegant approach where we try to understand the logic, the engine running underneath it all. So here it is, the big secret. Complex grammar isn't some new scary thing you have to learn from scratch. Nope, it's just compressed. Think about it. You already know how to make basic sentences. This is just about seeing how those get squished down to be more efficient. All right, let's make this real with our first big aha moment. We're going to start with the infinitive. You know, that classic to plus a verb thing. We use it all the time, but what's it actually doing there? Think about a phrase like this: I am glad to know you. Rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it? We say it without even thinking. But why to know? Why not something else? Well, the answer is actually incredibly simple. Turns out, what we're really saying, the full, complete thought, is I am glad because I can know you. That sentence has all the logical pieces. The version we actually use is just a super efficient shortcut. So how do we get from that long sentence to the short one? Well, you can see the logic in action, because English just loves to be efficient. First off, the subject I shows up twice. We don't need both, so one of them can go. Then, am is just a simple be verb, so we can drop that. And once you only have one clause, you don't need because anymore. And finally, that idea of can know gets compressed beautifully into just to know. And boom, there you have it. We didn't follow some crazy rule we had to memorize. We just followed logic. The infinitive isn't some random command from a textbook. It's just a natural, simplified version of a bigger idea. And this isn't some one-off trick either. This kind of logical connection is everywhere. Just look at this table. For pretty much every major modal verb, words like must or can, there's an infinitive that means the same thing. They're basically two sides of the very same coin. Okay, so that same logic of simplification, it works for so many other parts of grammar. So let's try it out on another one that trips people up. Participles. Yeah, I'm talking about those ing and ed words. Now, in school, we're taught that these things form all these complex verb tenses we just have to memorize. Progressive tense, passive voice, it sounds really complicated, but what if they aren't even really verbs? Here's the secret. You have to completely reframe how you think about them. Stop seeing words like running or written as part of some scary verb tense. Instead, start seeing them for what they really are. They're just adjectives. Simple as that. Look at how simple this makes it. We all get that black is an adjective, right? It describes the dog. Well, barking is doing the exact same thing. It's just an adjective that happens to describe an action the dog is doing. See, each ending just adds a little bit of built-in meaning. That ing just means ongoing. So I am running really just means I am in an ongoing state of running. And ed just means completed. So the water is boiled just means the water is in a completed state of having been boiled. No more complex tenses. It's just a noun, a be verb, and an adjective. How simple is that? So let's zoom out for a second here. What we've been talking about is way bigger than just a few grammar tips. This is really about tapping into the power of simplicity. It's about a whole new mindset that can totally change how you see language. So, do you need to run out and memorize a giant book of grammar rules? No, absolutely not. The point of all this wasn't just to explain infinitives and participles. It was to show you a completely new way to think about grammar, a way that's built on understanding, not just memorizing. So this is your new toolkit. From now on, when you see a sentence that seems complicated, don't freak out. Just ask yourself, okay, what's the full, simple idea here? How did it get compressed? When you start thinking like that, you can decode pretty much any grammar structure you find.
And that's really what this is all about. The big takeaway here is a question for you to think about. Now that you have this new way of looking at things, what other parts of English grammar, the ones that always seem so random and confusing, are suddenly going to click? What other rules are just waiting for you to see the simple, elegant logic hiding inside?